Okay, folks, this comes from another domestic duty piece of shit of an appliance. I wish appliances could last indefinitely, and I wish they could be serviced instead of dumped. Everything's toss away, throw away. It's like, yeah, you can't do anything else about it. Let's see how we go with this. Make this into something interesting. Okay, let's see what we have here. This comes out of a coffee machine, and there's so many of these that do get dumped on the side. This was during a council clean-up, and I figured I'd souvenir this piece of metal, which feels quite heavy. You'd wonder why you'd want to make these domestic duty pieces of shit that don't... Yeah, honestly, and you think that's a waste of metal, really good waste of good material. I'm going to maybe enlarge it a bit on the horizontal, a bit further. Yeah, I just don't understand why everything has to be so fucking disposable, especially if it's domestic duty. Everything that's designed for the home use typically doesn't last, like those home printers, like those printers normally made by companies like Canon and other brands like Hewlett Packard and Epson, and they're just a load of shit, they're just a load of pollution. And it's like everyone just buys this shit, this bullshit crap. I'm going to enlarge it a bit further on the horizontal. I'm going to make this into something interesting. Funny. But yeah, it just really beggars belief that everything has to be fucking disposable. And people take it. People like to buy this shit. It's cheap. Cheap and nasty, but it's cheap. And these people just get so sucked in by all this. I'd rather go to a coffee shop or have instant coffee than buy one of those. And they're difficult to wash up and all the rest of it, so what's the point? So, you're better off just having an instant coffee when you're at home and going out to a coffee shop if you want an espresso, if you want a cappuccino. Why not? Why not just go to a fucking coffee shop and allow these coffee shops to make some good revenue and keep people in work? Keep people in a job. Give someone a job. Just go to a fucking cafe and have a coffee there and just experience the niceness of having a cuppa, a proper cuppa. You don't have to do everything at home, and you just meet to socialise. What's ever happened to socialising? Why does everything have to be behind closed doors? Why can't people just go out? Why can't people just go out and stop using those stupid printers like Canons? Why can't they stop using those and just simply go to Officeworks or go to a library and meet up with your friends and print off with your friends? Enjoy your you love your social life. Put your money where your mouth is and just fucking socialise when you're doing your fucking coffee making and your printing. Save the environment, folks. Make something good of yourselves. I've just got to get rid of this negative mode, which is like my feelings towards the way the world is run. So we're going to make this into a movement piece. see how we go with this. This has come up looking quite interesting. It's almost watery. It's almost like water. I'm going to make this into a marbled piece. I do think maybe we might start lightening off, or maybe leave it there. I'm going to utilise this as our master copy. But yeah, I just wish people could just use their... You know, if people love to socialise, why can't they socialise while they're having a coffee or having a printing things, you know, like, you know, just if you love your socialising, you know, why can't you use socialising as an excuse not to buy a home-sized cafe maker or an expensive print cartridge printer, which really doesn't add up in the end when you think about it. You know, but people don't think. That's the problem. I'm going to take a section out of that and maybe make it there. Yeah, I just wish people would boycott all this home duty stuff, you know, and maybe, and if you want to socialise, yeah, of course, that's what I was saying. Sorry, folks. If I'm going to do any printing, folks, I actually don't do any printing at this stage. This photocopier could be used as a printer, but because I'm using it heavily for these demos, I haven't got the, I can't afford the toner to, or I can, but because I've got it on a service agreement, but basically I have to keep the toner going, so I'm using the toner for this. But basically most people like to print, and basically most people choose to buy those stupid home duty printers that just don't last, and cartridges are often more expensive than the fucking printer itself, which is a real shit box, as I call them. I have no fucking affection towards them, and the people that make them. Yeah, I'm going to make that a bit more on the horizontal and maybe a little less on the vertical. I don't actually like the way the vertical's working out. I do think I've got to enlarge it less on the vertical and more on the horizontal. Find that part interesting. I don't know if that's going to be the centre of this job in the end or not. Or maybe I could just simply enlarge further off and maybe make that less of a prominent feature. Yeah. Yeah, that looks looking better now. That looks a lot more interesting. I don't know if I actually like it still. It looks a bit too stretched. Maybe I could bring back some of it. Trying to decide what to do with it, folks. If I'm going to make it something better. But yeah, I just wish people would just spend more time going out instead of spending it at home. And home is not always a great place, you know. You don't always. I know I've never been a person that likes being cooped up at home because I've never associated it with fun. My family wasn't the greatest bunch of homebodies. I just used to want to go out. Maybe if I get in touch with my partner Luigi, the man I'd like to marry, or maybe I'll spend more time at home. We'll still go out. We're still going to have coffee in restaurants and shit, you know, like that's what I like to do, and he likes to do it, I'm pretty sure. He's that kind of guy. But of course, I've never felt at home because I just don't feel, I'm not with the one I love. That's it. Love is the missing ingredient in the home. And yet most people would rather stay at home even though there's no love. I don't understand how that works, folks. How people can just allow themselves to live in a home situation that's not loving and still want to stay at home. I'd just want to go fucking out and get the fuck out of there and do something a lot more pleasant than being stuck at home with a bunch of fuckwits. I've been in that situation living with other people and I've never gotten on, and that's come up looking quite interesting. I do think maybe switcheroo. Can we do a switcheroo, or this is not the greatest piece I've done? I do think we'll do a switcheroo, see if we can improve the appearance of this piece. But basically I'm really missing my partner Luigi, and I'm a person who's very sensitive, and if I'm not happy at home, I just don't want to be at home. I just don't want to feel like, I just wish to be with my partner, and I am the kind of person that's very fussy with who I keep company with. And if I don't feel comfortable with people, I don't want to be with them. I just don't want. And that's come up looking, it looks a bit narrow. I do feel I could have enlarged maybe this, but that was at the edge of the page. I do think maybe there is another version we can do. I'm not happy with this piece, folks, exactly. I wish I could have been. Could be, actually. Wish I was. That's what I hate about things, you know, like you wish something could be something and it's not. And you think, well, I could have done it that way, I could have done it this way instead, but you don't. You didn't, and you didn't. And that's how it feels with life. Life is like that. I've done some stupid things in my life, which I've regret. It's ruining my life as I speak. And I know I could have done it that way or this way better, but I didn't. And that's come up looking, I think that looks a lot better now, this version. Wondering if I could do one more version and that's it. That'll finish off the job. But I really miss my partner Luigi, and I really wish I could have been with him, and I wish I could have done it that way, and I could have done my life differently, you know, and I've fucked up. And that's why I've ended up in some pretty unloving and unwholesome situations where I've lived in. One of the places I lived with had such a bad neighbourhood, it would only be described by myself as a mini ghetto. And that was in Manly, and it was a horrible housing department precinct, and the people were just so fucking scary, and it was a scary place, and I never wanted to stay at home and sit around. It was not a very wholesome place, and that's come up looking quite interesting. I think we can now call this demo quits.